Gabriel Kochuku here. Good opportunity for Nigeria. Gabriel Kochuku!
Well, they are one step away from the title in Morocco. Home-based Super Eagles in Cloud 9 as they are congratulated by President Muhammadu Buhari on reaching their first ever CHAN final. He's not a happy man at the moment, and you all know why. Riyad Mahrez are missing in training at Leicester City after collapse deadline day move to Manchester City. Hello and welcome along on the program for tonight. I'm Mayowa Ajayi, also on the show. From the athletics tracks to the football pitch, what a switch that will be. Usain Bolt intensifies effort in starting a football career after a glorious career in track and field. We'll tell you all about that in a moment. Well, it's been another bright and interesting day in sports today with plenty of talking points. We've been tracking all the major stories for you and we have them now in graphics. All right, welcome along on the program once again. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a congratulatory message to the home-based Super Eagles for reaching the final of the 2018 African Nations Championship CHAN for the first time in 3 appearances. Nigeria labored to their first ever final at the tournament, beating Sudan 1-0 in Marrakesh yesterday night. President Buhari tweeted through his official Twitter handle, congratulating the team and stating that Nigerians are looking forward to the team taking on host Morocco in the final on Sunday. Morocco themselves defeated Libya 3-1 to reach the final. Nigeria striker Isaac Sussex has joined a Spanish La Liga club Malaga on loan for the rest of the season from English Premier League side Watford. Malaga, who signed another Nigerian forward Brown Ideye on a 6-month loan deal, announced the deal on their website. Success has struggled to secure a regular spot at Watford this season due to injury and loss of form. He featured just 19 times for the Hornets last season and has made 1 appearance in the Carabao Cup for the club this season. And the January transfer window came to a close on Wednesday night, with many of the teams getting their final deals across the line just in time before the window shut down. Arsenal finally got their man in Gabon striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund for a club record fee of £56 million. The fee eclipses the £46.5 million the Gunners paid for Alexander Lacazette in July, and to push that deal through, Arsenal had to sell Olivier Giroud to Chelsea. That deal was worth £18 million on deadline day. Giroud's move to Chelsea also paved the way for Michy Batshuayi to join Borussia Dortmund on loan from Chelsea as a replacement for Aubameyang. And Tottenham completed their first January signing on deadline day after selling a £25 million deal for Paris Saint-Germain Brazilian forward Lucas Moura. Nigerian international left-back Ederson Echejile joined Belgian First Division B club Cercle Brugge until the end of the season after he cancelled his contract with a Turkish side Sivasspor. And Spanish club Las Palmas acquired the services of 23-year-old Nigerian midfielder Ogene Karu-Etebo on a 6-month loan deal from Portuguese club Sidi Firenze with an option to sign him permanently at the end of the season. Nigerian striker Emmanuel Emenike also joined the Spanish La Liga side Las Palmas on a 6-month loan deal from Greek side Olympiacos, becoming the second Nigerian there after Etebo. And Newcastle signed Leicester City forward Islam Slimani and Spartak Prague goalkeeper Martin Dubravka on loan until the end of the season. Slimani joined Leicester in August 2016 but has started just 2 Premier League games this season. Everton signed France defender Iliakoin Mangala from Manchester City on loan until the end of the season. The centre-back is the club's third signing in January, following deals for a winger Theo Walcott and striker Sheikh Tosun. And we understand now Riyad Mahrez has failed to report for Leicester City training again today, a day after a move to Manchester City failed to materialize. The forward was the subject of multiple offers from the Premier League leaders, with the last of those understood to be a player plus cash offer worth an estimated £65 million. But Leicester valued the Algeria international much nearer to £95 million. And Mahrez put in another transfer request in days running up to the deadline day and was not at training on Friday last week, meaning he was not part of the Leicester squad for the Wednesday's 2-1 defeat at Everton. Really interesting. Well, if you can dream it, you can do it. That's the best description for the most decorated Olympian of all time, Usain Bolt, who is considering a career in football after retiring from athletics. Bolt has intensified efforts in ensuring that he becomes a footballer. But which team would be in for his services? We've got that in this report.
Multiple Olympic champion Usain Bolt says he has set his sights on conquering the football field since retiring from sprint racing last year. Addressing journalists at the Puma School of Speed event held in Johannesburg, South Africa, Bolt said playing football is something that he wants to pursue with a trial at German club Borussia Dortmund, due to take place in March.
Yes, that's something that I really want to do. And as you said, I have trials with Borussia Dortmund, so that's something that is on the table. So when I do the trials, then I can determine if it makes sense to do it or it doesn't make sense. So that's what the plan is. So if track and field is doing great for your country and uplifting your country, then it's good to invest. You know what I mean? Because investing in the future and the young ones, because no one knew I was going to be at this level, but Puma at the start really invested in me and they stuck by me through.
Bolt, who attended the event in his capacity as president of the School of Speed, encouraged the South African government to invest in talented young athletes. The Jamaican multi-time sprint champion also took to the racing track to greet young fans and show off his trademark Lightning Bolt pose.
Well, it's time to run again in Lagos. And athletes have started collecting their running kits for the 2018 Lagos City Marathon. Runners are trooped to the collection center at the Molade Okoya Thomas Hall of the Teslim Balogun Stadium last day. Hundreds of athletes took their turns to receive their running vests and numbers attached with electronic chips known as transponders. Intending runners also had to go through some cardiovascular screening.
Over 60,000 people have returned their forms for the 10 kilometers and over 40,000 for the 42.5 kilometers. So we're excited. We're looking forward to this year's marathon.
For those people that want to go for Lagos State Marathon next coming Saturday, so the machine check their body fats, their weights, and their BPs. So some of them are on drugs on BP. So we use the machine to screen them out, whether they are qualified for the race or not.
I just want to do it for fun. That's it. I'm not for the grant or the prize. I just want to do it for fun because it's what I've been training for.
Basically just a form of exercise. All this while we've been working, not done anything, and we all need exercise once in a while just to keep fit and healthy.
So I love to run, and I see this as an opportunity to do what I love to do. But I'm looking to have fun, as well as having my eyes on the prize too.
It's good. Why I've registered to run? Because once in a while it's good for you to follow others and do exercise and regain your fitness.
All right, we've got sports journalist Sayo Owolabi with us now via phone for tonight on the show. Hello, Sayo, how are you?
Hi, Mayo. Good evening. Great to be on the show.
All right, great to have you. Quite an interesting one yesterday. For the first time in 3 attempts, Nigeria's home-based Super Eagles finally got to the final. And it's good to know that the president has sent in a congratulatory message to these players.
Oh, well, yeah. I think that's the best thing we can get from the #1 citizen. And, of course, kudos to the players. Much underrated, much maligned. But at the same time, they've made it to the final of the tournament. performance still not convincing, but then who cares about performance 10 years from now when we see that they're champions, that's if they eventually become champions. But then we still expect that they will give a better performance, because we would have loved to see some of them make the trip to Russia, but I'm sure that's not the case at the moment. Well, maybe except for one or two, especially the two goalkeepers as we speak. But at the end of making it to the final, for example, they stopped Sudan, who have had a winning run at the tournament. They actually halted that. So kudos to the team making it to the final. Let's hope they can cap it up with victory against the host Morocco in the final.
Really, it was a labored performance against Sudan yesterday, but albeit they made it to the final against host Morocco on Sunday. We'll be here tomorrow to preview that game very much more. Let's go through some of the transfer deals on final day. Some deals involving Nigerian players. You heard the Nigerian striker Isaac Sussex has joined Malaga from Watford. Emmanuel Emenike joining that's Las Palmas. Same for Organic Aretebo.
Yeah, and of course, what's his name too joined Malaga, Brownie there. It's good to have the guys. Though some people will say they are joining struggling sides in the La Liga, but it's a win-win situation. What if they join a struggling side and they're able to help them salvage their place in the La Liga for next season? That's kudos to them. It would mean that they are being brought into the team in the January transfer window, paid off for the team. So kudos to the guys making it back to mainstream Europe. We must say the La Liga definitely one of the top 5 big leagues in Europe and of course in the world. And I hope that they will be able to bring quality to the side, Las Palmas and Malaga, and of course join the plane to Russia, talking about bringing quality to the Super Eagles also.
All right, let's talk about this triumvirate deal, if you want to call it that. Arsenal finally landed their man Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Olivier Giroud heading to Chelsea, while Mr. Batshuayi went the other way to Germany, Borussia Dortmund. What do you make of that deal?
The triangle deal is the way I like to describe it. One seems have to give something for another. Rumors about the fact that Arsenal had to pay for Batshuayi's loan deal, though we know that's not the case. But of course, lots of rumor around those 3 players before the deal eventually happened. I think the teams got what they wanted. The only one that would be a surprise is, and also the players, the only one that will come as a surprise would be, for me, Chelsea. Because you have a Batshuayi who is not just a striker, but a ball player also. And you're bringing in a Giroud who, in my opinion, is in the same light with Morata, who is the person you are hoping to get a backup for, or even the Smith as the number 1 striker. And you go in and bring a like for like. They're both good in the air, maybe not too fleet-footed. Batshuayi can give you that, and I felt they should have retained Batshuayi. But then they've lost him to Dortmund now. Trust me, I think he's going to do well with Dortmund and their style of play. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang coming to Arsenal, good one for Arsenal. Losing Sanchez and of course losing Giroud also and getting Aubameyang is someone everyone have wanted to see in the Premier League all the years. But he's coming at 29, still got about 3-4 years of top-flight football to give, and I'm sure Arsenal would enjoy that from him this season.
All right, Lucas Moura also moved to Tottenham. Really, we want to say good deal for them. Everton got Manchester City defender Elianki Mangala until the end of the season. A good deal for them. But the one in the news today is Riyad Mahrez has failed to report for Leicester training after a deadline, failed move to Manchester City. You want to believe, that proposed move got in his head, right?
Definitely, and I call him Rebel Mahrez now, and at the same time, it's like we say in the local parlance, he will be like a leper amongst his teammates now, considering the way he actually did this. And it's unfortunate because it's dangerous to hand in a transfer in just the time. If it was the summer transfer, there's usually about 2 months or so for you to actually fight your way to get it done. but that's not been the case with Riyad Mahrez. I'm sure he's pained, and of course trying to revolt with his actions, but then he needs to get himself together. He's been churning out good performance for Leicester in recent weeks, so this came as a surprise. Of course, Man City also unsettled him. I hope he can get his act together. He doesn't want to sit out for about 5 months, or 4 or 5 months, till the end of the season. Yes, we know he would, even if it's not Man City, he would definitely not be part of the Leicester City squad for next season, but he should end this season on high, not as a rebel or be revolting against the fact that they didn't allow him to go in this winter window.
All right, thank you very much. About Sayo, before I let you go on the show tonight, what can you say about this proposed switch from one career to another for Usain Bolt? He wants to pursue a football career after a glorious, career in track and field.
Oh, well, maybe he's doing what I would love to do too. After a glorious career as a sport journalist, I could go and play football, which was my first love. But on a more serious note, I think it's good. He's always talked about it for about 5-6 years now, if we can all recollect. He's always talked about his dream to play for Manchester United. And we know how crazy a coach like Mourinho can be. If he's still in the saddle of things and he's able... I know they were talking about Dortmund.
Dortmund. He trained with Dortmund at some point.
He trained with them, yeah. So if he could actually start off a career, trust me, Mourinho can bring in him just for the fun of it, to play for his dream club, Manchester United, even if it's just for one season. And for Usain Bolt, I think he's got it in him. I've seen him on the ball, just like I remember sometime about 10 years or so ago, Schumacher getting to play football, and he actually had it in him. So it could be the same for Usain Bolt, and he has not only talked about it, he has made moves to make it happen, and may just be capping up his sporting career now, not just his athletics career by playing football.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Sayo Owolabi, for your time on the program tonight.
Always a pleasure, Mayowa.
Okay, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, says a decision to overturn the Olympic life bans of 28 Russian athletes may have a serious impact on the future fight against doping. But how damaging is this on the fight against doping?
28 Russian athletes who were banned from the Olympics for life have had their suspensions overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. 11 more athletes had their appeals against the International Olympic Committee ban partially upheld.
The evidence collected was found to be insufficient to establish that an anti-doping rule violation was committed by the athletes concerned. This does not mean that these 28 athletes are declared innocent, but in their case, due to insufficient evidence, the appeals are upheld, the sanctions annulled, and their individual results achieved in Sochi are reinstated. In 11 cases, the evidence collected was found to be sufficient to establish an individual anti-doping rule violation.
Each had been banned by the IOC for doping at the 2014 Winter Olympics, which were held in the Russian city of Sochi. The 2018 Games in Pyeongchang, South Korea, begin on February 9th. CAS says 28 cases evidence was insufficient to prove doping, and those athletes would have their life bans fully overturned.
The IOC decisions in these matters are confirmed, with one exception. The athletes are declared ineligible for the next edition of the Olympic Winter Games, that is to say here in Pyeongchang 2018, instead of a life ban from all Olympic Games. The mandate of CAS in this matter was strictly limited to dealing with 39 individual cases and to assess the evidence applicable to each athlete on an individual basis.
Russia has repeatedly denied any state involvement in the doping, which was exposed by an independent report commissioned by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Meanwhile, the IOC has said the 28 Russian athletes who have had their Olympic doping bans overturned would not necessarily be invited to Pyeongchang after the appeal was upheld by Sport's highest tribunal.
On the one hand, the confirmation of the anti-doping rule violations for 11 athletes because of the manipulation of their samples clearly demonstrates once more the existence of the systemic manipulation of the anti-doping system at the Olympic Winter Games, Sochi 2014. On the other hand, the IOC regrets very much that, according to the CAS press release, the panels did not take this proven existence of the systemic manipulation of the anti-doping system into consideration for the other 28 cases.
The IOC is unhappy CAS did not take this proven existence of the systemic manipulation of the anti-doping system into cases.
This may have a serious impact on the future fight against doping. Therefore, the IOC will analyse the reasoned decisions very carefully once they are available and consider consequences, including an appeal to the Swiss Federal Tribunal. The result of the CAS decision does not mean that athletes from the group of 28 will be invited to the Games. Not being sanctioned does not automatically confer the privilege of an invitation. In this context, it is also important to note that, in his press conference, the CAS Secretary-General insisted that the CAS decision does not mean that these 28 athletes are declared innocent. End of quote.
Cross-country skier Alexander Lekov, who won gold in the 50 kilometers and silver in 4x10 kilometer, and Alexander Treyakov, who won gold in the men's individual skeleton, were among those to be cleared.
All right, the battle for third place in the Eastern Conference went to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who won it with defense. LeBron James prevented James Johnson from getting a shot off before the final buzzer sounded as the Cavs beat the Miami Heat 91 to 89 points. Let's catch highlights of that game now.
In those scenarios. So, again, that's the way the schedule falls. Just got a 28th in the league in fast break scoring. But you know, they saw what Detroit did last night.
That's every team will do that.
Crowder inside from Isaiah Thomas. Good pass. They missed their first 3 shots, all 3s. LeBron takes his time. Against Whiteside, he scored.
The Whiteside, these guys, Fred, this could come back to haunt him by not taking advantage of these stops.
Well-timed pick and roll. Isaiah, beautifully set screen by Tristan. Off that foul by Thompson. Richardson thought about that 3. Goes against Crowder and got to the hole. LeBron waiting his screen against James Johnson. Very athletic defender. LeBron sends it and hits it. So LBJ with a couple of field goals. Cavalier 17th in his NBA career. Leads the league in that department at any rate.
I would say so.
The all-dental team as he gets to the rim.
But
James Johnson backs out. A short shot clock. Whiteside, the rebound, and put it in. Just the size there, won the battle.
Yep.
12-8.
Yeah, he has a great story.
JR off the bounce. And gets it to go.
Yep. Cavaliers moving the ball well, coming up.
2 rather. They've got 2 more come up, including Detroit with Blake Griffin on the weekend. Dragic backs down and scores over Isaiah. Yeah, he's got to take advantage of this early cold spell by Miami.
And that's exactly right.
LeBron launches and hits it from 3. 3-0. On a pace for 250. He at 225.
Yeah, he can shoot it.
Here comes James Johnson out of the timeout on the song.
It's so easy to get against the Cavs.
17-12. JR got the angle on Tyler Johnson. Puts it up and in. Nice move off the run.
Yes, if they're going to run you off.
Of course, in South Florida. His number will be retired someday there. JR on a foot. So 3 times he's put. Miami 12th in the league in 3-point line defense. Dragic sends it, hits us in the 4th. Long launch. The ball up for 3. A sight for sore eyes.
Offense on the floor.
5 on the shot clock. Keep in mind. Oh, Richardson got inside. That's why Eric Spoelstra called. Ellington chased by Corbin. Johnson looked off. Oh, the rim got in the way. Spin it back in. This is what happens when you don't have a super glue blood moon in 150 years as they score. James Johnson. Just bizarre.
This is unbelievable.
Olynyk to the hole. Dragic juking and jiving. Missing. Rebound away. Down the floor. LeBron James. Kevin Love, that's for you, and a touchdown pass in Love. Has Isaiah Thomas on him. Dragic driving. Too much traffic blocked by D-Wade. Saved by Isaiah.
You got to do something. It's not too much standing around.
Red floor. LeBron got a screen. Gets aside. Got it. JR. Well timed. Miami has 4. Olynyk got it back against his former teammate. Up and under move. Nice move by Olynyk. From Wrinkle. LeBron in trouble. 4 to shoot. A fly. Jay Crowder needs it. Got it for 3. Maybe. Against Isaiah Thomas. Will he shoot over the top? Nice move and finish. Veteran move by Josh Richardson came to the ball. Backs out to Olynyk. Passed up a 3 possibility. Goes inside. Scored it. Now they'll be forced. Lead is 2. See if we can make it thumbs down after these 7 seconds. Corver missed it! Here comes Miami. Now they just need it. 2. Johnson going downhill. Stop sign applied. Johnson, no! Runs out of time! Away goes Super Blue Bud Moon winner! Cavaliers!
Well, that's our package tonight on the program Sports Center. I'm Mayowa Ajayi. The show will be back again tomorrow with all the weekend previews of all the actions in sport across the weekend, including the CHAN final between Nigeria and Morocco. So keep it there with us tomorrow. I'll be here again tomorrow, God willing. Bye for now and have a fabulous night rest.